G'day and welcome back for more Scrapyard Survival. And it's convenient that it's night. For once, it's convenient. Or at least I think it's kind of convenient. I'm going to be working with neons, so it's probably better that we are able to actually see the neons that I'm working on. Because I'm going to try and make a sign out of small grid neon blocks that says Splitsies Scrap with the ability to have one of the letters flicker. So I hope I can actually make that work. I've never done something like this before. I don't know how well or not this might work. So it's going to be fun to mess around with. What I think I need to work out first is how I'm going to attach to the bridge up here. Because I need to attach to the outside. I was about to say the outside is all of the beam blocks, but there are those flat plate areas which should be fairly easy to attach to. And if I attach to them nice and high, what I can also do, which a couple of people suggested, which I thought about while I was editing, after staring at my... what? I was about to say after staring at my stacked, but they are not stacked anymore. Flatbeds. Because I do have these solar panels on here. And if I fix up these solar panels, I can attach them to my light grid, and then I don't need to worry about batteries at all. Even though I did prove that I don't need to worry about them too much, but I was going to put a timer block on here, or a couple, so they might have used enough power, but with solar panels up there, we should have zero problems whatsoever. And if the solar panels kind of sit over the bridge deck, they won't be visible from the ground, they shouldn't upset the lines from above, and they'll provide the power for the neon sign. So, that's what I thought I would use as a power source. If I'm going to do that though, oh, I swear those spotlights used to point up a bit more. If I was going to do that though, I probably want to have the rest of the thing built first. Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit more light. Areas where it's useful. Sorry, distracted by lighting. What's new? Yeah, that's even better. Okay. Oh yeah, that hinge must have dropped at some point. All right, so I'm going to begin with these two batteries, I think, as the easiest place to go. To be able to start this thing, I need something locked to the ground, so I'm probably just going to start with a regular old landing gear. Drop it down, and then we can start building this and figure out the rest of it. Starting with a landing gear because it starts me a bit higher off the ground. Yeah, how to do this? I thought this was going to be super easy. I kind of forgot that maybe it might... Yeah, I should have put some extra thought into this. Ew. Would truss pillars work as a main part of the letters scaffolding? Probably. Yeah, if I put one of these down as each letter and then put a block in between. In fact, let's see if that'll even fit on the bridge. So 15 letters. I think I had 21 across, so I should be fine. Yep, 21 across in just the center bit, so 15 letters and a space. Should work out quite well. Plus, obviously, there's going to be a little bit more than 15 blocks because I'm adding this extra block in between. Huh, this is quite big. It's really quite big. Have I actually left myself enough space? I may need to move this before I finish it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ha! Just trying to think about what other sort of support structure I might want behind. And I think either I want to use panels. Oh, panels don't attach onto the side there. Guess I'm going to need to put some extra attachment point in so I can attach panels back. Nuts. Because I was going to either do panels or do barred windows, but barred windows don't attach either. And then I guess I could just do the support that's needed for each particular letter rather than having everything have lots of support. That's probably smarter too. Okay. Guess I got to start in the middle of each one. Make sure that there is a way to attach. Yep, good. This is going to take a while. And do I want to do the full width of each letter? I think I do. I think what I'm basically going to be working with is a 5x5 square for each letter. Or maybe I go a 7x5 rectangle so I can go an extra block above and an extra block below. Because I've got the height to work with the bridge, since the bridge has actually got 5 meters, I think. Just have another closer look. I'm pretty sure it's 5 meters. It's 2 large grid blocks. No, it's not. It's 1.5 large grid blocks because it's the beam block and then the railing. And that's it. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out the letters as best I can and then see how they look, see what needs to change, as I am having a tough time visualizing what needs to change, like how they need to be set up. The thing that I'm having the most trouble with is the R in Scrap, because the R in Scrap is going to be really difficult to do an R. Maybe I should start there. S-P-L-I-T-S-I-E-S space S-C-R. I built a little piston on here because I did not leave enough space to write stuff. Couldn't actually place the bottom part of these things. So, back to the R. Is that the best R I can come up with? Partially tempted not to put the little kink in the little lower right bit of the R. Just trying to see what other options I might have for it. Because obviously we don't have diagonals, so I can't do any sort of anything that's a diagonal there. I don't think there is a better option. I think that's the best I've got. Because the alternative is to just have this line from here come straight down. And the reason I need to have this little notch in there is that having an A right next to it, which is probably going to be something as simple as be back in one moment once I've built it. Yeah. So having the A right next to it that's shaped like that, because that's really the only way I can do an A, especially if I stick with the 5x5 sort of thing. I feel like the R does need to be shaped that way. And I think it's clear enough. It's not the typeface I would choose if I had to choose, but for using neon, I think it's the best option. Now, I need to think about where the flickering letter is going to be and how that's going to fit into all this, but I'll try and get the rest of the letters, like, get all the letters sorted out first, and then I'll figure that out, because I think with the little joiner bit, I should have enough room to play around with making that work later. Just get rid of those. Don't need those. So far getting away with
energy
just
low.
the center support. It may not be super readable against all of the backlit, but I think it works pretty well. One of the tricky bits that I'm not super happy with, but it's the best option I think we have available, is these little tags at the end. I actually had to use the neon ends for all of the bits, because if I were to use the full length thing, it always ended up being too long, especially for bits like the bottom of this P, as it sticks down below the bottom bit of the S and the L and all the other letters. Similarly, the top and bottom of the S stick out too far below the part above it. I don't know what to call that. But at least with the end piece, it kind of cuts it a little bit closer, so the difference isn't quite as dramatic. I did try out using the neon tubes down as an alternative, but I felt finished too short, so it looked even weirder. And we don't really have another alternative that can be used there. So it was kind of one of those two. And since the end piece actually is an end piece, I thought it would look nicest anyway. So yeah, there we go. Splitsies, Scrap. Now, figuring out how on Earth or on Satrius to make one of the letters flicker. Has to turn on and off, and I have to remain, and the rest of the stuff has to remain connected to each other. What I think I'm going to do is create a secondary linkage that's independent of the current one to link up the end of it to this, to link up around the bit that I'm going to mess with. I need 2 connectors hooking up to each other. That's how the power is going to get to the one that flickers. Also going to need to figure out how to hide that. But I guess if I put 2 connectors like that, then the next thing I need is a landing gear. And it does need to be a landing gear rather than a mag plate. I guess it could be the gigantic mag plate, but I need a landing gear set up so that it's locked to the original grid as well. Which means probably the best way to do that is something like this, and the landing gear like that, and then lock there. So that'll remain locked. Let's build that up. So with these being two blocks thick, hopefully that'll be a bit easier. But I need to kind of get from this truss pillar to this truss pillar without touching any of this, what will soon be a separate grid. And also try to make that look neat. I could use black neons. In fact, they're probably the best option, I think. Because they'll just be a black cable that'll run between them. And if I don't weld it up, it'll be even less than that. Yeah, go all the way to where this S is, and then go up. It'll be somewhat hidden behind there, and it'll just be a nice straight line. That'll make it really obvious that the whole thing is crooked relative to the bridge. Because that's another problem I hadn't thought of that I'm going to have to sort out. This thing's going to need to be really neatly aligned, or very deliberately not aligned. I don't think I can do very deliberately not aligned in a way that's going to look interesting, because the angle would have to be so severe. Oh, no. That is bad. This actually looks better welded up than it does unwelded, I think. These little brackets get smaller. So that should separate the two. Those are locked. That means I should be able to now grind this out. That all remains locked. Then grind this out. And that will auto-lock. Now I can replace those blocks. Maybe. Yep. So, oh, got it. It's just spamming it, trying to get the point because it was showing green occasionally. And there we go. Now, if I switch lock, that turns on and off. Hooray! Okay, now I just need a couple of timer blocks. And the batteries moved to somewhere more sensible because I just kind of threw them on there. We should be good. I don't think I'm going to do the double... I don't think I'm going to do the double trusses the whole way. I think I'll just do it through this section where they're actually required. So I want the flickering to be somewhat irregular. And I think, unless I were to use a script to spam the connector on and off, 4 timer blocks should be able to make a fairly irregular flicker. So the actions will be on number 1. Should I just make them switch lock? Yeah, maybe. Switch lock and start all the timers for the first one. And then this one can have the action of switch lock. This one can have the action of switch lock. And this one can have the action of switch lock. Then I set this one's timer to be 15 seconds. This one to be 2, 4, 3. Maybe make this 5. Cycle a bit quicker. Start. Oh. Hey. It's not feeling regular, which I like. I'm pretty happy with that. We get that flicker effect every now and then. Yeah. That came together very nicely. Don't think we need the sound, though. It's, sweet silence. Okay, so. Now. How do I go about making this thing nice and level on the bridge? That's gonna be tricky. I think what I need to do is make this have like a set of feet on either end, build myself a platform to rest this on, and then I can just push it back until it locks in place. Because that'll keep it level. That should keep it level. So what I'm thinking is like, put little... I actually can't have the stabilizer bits at the back. I have to go forward of that. I'd go to there. And have like a landing gear on the back here. Which I should then be able to get up there and manually lock once I need to. And grind off these other bits, hopefully. I think that's the best way I've got of making this level. Just need to actually make this bottom part go down a bit lower because that's not low enough. Oh, I'm so glad we got these truss pillars now. So, I currently can't place a block here. Well, I can place a block here, but I can't do the next block down because I can't get under there without using my very little remaining suit hydrogen until I next die. But if I use the truss pillar, I can then easily place that block as low as I want to go, remove the truss pillar, and I've got the block where I want it to be. I am going to have to remember to use that. Most of the time that I'm trying to place stuff underneath things like that, it's usually on the end of a piston though, so it's a little bit more tricky. But you could probably, from the side of a piston, build up a couple of blocks, then put a truss pillar on and then do the same trick. I'm going to have to remember to use that because I literally just thought of that now and it is going to be a lifesaver so many times. Mag plate at either end, and I can get rid of the piston, and then I've got to go and make a platform for this to drop onto. Let's make sure this doesn't topple over. Yeah, good. Supports itself. It's supported, the mag plates are in the right spot. Let's get up there and add a platform for this to be built on. Dropped on. Support. Out like this, hopefully is going to be right. So if I build this across, I can then go and place the next blocks up on the bridge, and also hopefully be able to grind them off once the sign's up there. Oh, wait, I've forgotten an important thing for the sign. It needs the solar panel. But maybe I'll add that after, actually, once I've got it locked to the bridge, because I need to know the heights and everything like that. I think that's going to be a bit tricky. Okay, hopefully that's right. I'm also looking at this and realizing that I may have done something unintentionally quite clever. I may have made it so that the back side of this, the bit that sticks out, sits and tucks itself into the inset part of the beam block. Aside from this bit. This bit probably doesn't. This bit's probably not going to be happy. We'll see. Can I make that more compact? Not really. It's as compact as it can be. Well, it's still fairly hidden. Oh, I love being able to make flickering neon. I'm so happy I worked that out. With that, let's lift this up and see how it looks. Oh, wow. This is the biggest sign I've ever put up anywhere, I think. I don't really usually do all that much in the way of signage. Okay, gotta make sure it's reasonably centered. It's about 1 block at that end, 2 blocks at that end. Okay, so a bit more to my left. That looks pretty good. We unlock. And then we nudge. Ever so gently. Or not. Maybe I have to pick up the little leg bit. Or is the... Oh, the landing gear over here is blocking it going any further in. Just looking at it. Might need to pull this out and add an extra block, unfortunately. Because, yeah... Gotta pick up the whole thing and take it down. As I had hoped, the little bit that I built everything out on, like the little row, it does line up to the gap. Problem is, I can't actually get it in there far enough to lock on. So I need to add an extra block before my mag plates to be able to lock on. I might risk leaving auto lock on. If I'm very careful, it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, attempt number 2. Let's line up a little leftward. 1.5 blocks there, 1.5 blocks there. And then forward. Sliding forward. Oh no. Oh dear. I think I just exploded my S and my P. Oh, we're locked at that end. So I should just be able to rebuild those on top of that new scaffolding. Yes. Litzy's scrap. Actually, it's a part of me that wants to leave that broken. Oh. There is a real part of me that wants to leave that broken. You know what? I'm going to. Yeah. What the heck? Why not? It's got character now because I stuffed up. Oh yeah, and I really need to use safe grinding. Precision grinding. Then I won't accidentally grind out my support. Well, it's more definite when I'm looking at neons, but when I'm looking at an armor cube that is identical to the armor cube I'm trying not to break, maybe not so much. Just clear some inventory space so I can pick up other bits. Oh, I'm so in 2 minds about fixing this. So the only thing that's making me want to fix it, well, yeah, it kind of is the only thing, is having to explain to people why it's called Litzies rather than Splitsies, and letting them know that it was not a pun. It was just an unfortunate little explosion. It's got a little bit of an angle to it, but I think all things considered, it's probably pretty, it's pretty good. Now, I think I'll get rid of this scaffold. I can fairly easily rebuild it if I need it. But I don't want it here now. That sign is more readable at night than I expected. At night? Yeah. That sign is more readable in the daylight than I expected. Now, to attempt to attach this. Can I move this with grabby? No. I think moving this sign's going to be tricky because I can't move it by hand. I want to get it rotated around the right way. And then I need to get a mag plate on it so that I can lock it to the bridge. I might drop it and use this medium cargo to kind of let it rest. That's closer to the rotation I want. I can't get my head around what I need to do here. I need more thrust. I need something that's got the ability to fly at weirder angles. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get this properly vertical. No. I attach this to the bar sign. Oh yeah, this could work. Alright, so if I attach this to the bar little gateway thing here, as tilted back as far as I can get, then I should be able to disconnect, reconnect at the correct angle, hop out, disconnect it from that bridge, hop back in, and hopefully fly it up to the bridge. Yeah. I said bridge when I meant arch, and then I said bridge when I meant bridge. So that makes that confusing. Okay, should be able to reach the cockpit, I hope. Yep, switch lock. Hop in, try and tilt. Backwards. Further. That's closer. Hop out again. Turn auto lock on and do the whole thing again. Then I should be fine. In fact, I may well be able to just do it like this. Let's try. Where is the mag plate? It's just behind the helmet. Now, annoyingly, because I didn't grab this when it was free floating, it is making me sink. So getting this aligned is going to be tricky because that's what my dampeners are doing. I think that's locked. There we go. I think I did that pretty well. It's obviously never going to be perfect, but I think that's pretty good. And I just got to do the other one. May actually be just as tricky, or if not trickier. It's in amongst all the other signs in there. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll go stick the other one on. I think I may have a far better way of aligning the next sign vertically that I probably should have done on the previous one. As long as I can get up there and grind off that far up the top, which I don't know how I'm going to get to. I should be able to hover over here and add a base to this that I can then drop it onto, have it resting on that, so that it doesn't need to be weirdly angled. And I have an idea of how to do that. The bit that was throwing me off previously was obviously this thing needs to be at a 45-degree angle. And what I should have just done to make a platform for it, let's actually start on this side, and then put these slopes on. Because if I rested on that as a platform, it's going to stand up all quite nicely and perfectly vertically. Then I can grab it, put things in the right position, and most importantly, when I grab hold of it with the nugget, it's not going to be messing with my dampeners. So I should have it all in the right, like I should be able to put it into position properly before having any new. I was worried that would happen. I didn't make the platform wide enough, and it's tipped over. Well then. How do I want to fix this? Maybe build a better platform first, then try and line it up again. Now hopefully I can just kind of nudge it onto that. Hey, got it. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So now that's perfectly aligned. I can grab hold of it, hop out of the cockpit, grind off the platform, the stability bit, and then attach it. This is definitely one of those examples of me having an advantage out of having edited the first part of this video before this bit of the recording. Because I was staring at what I did last time on the first one, I was like, oh, helpful, having that extra thinking time to go, oh, yeah, this is a smarter way of doing things, isn't it? Whoops. Right, it's locked. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty good. Certainly not exactly the same, but I feel that that works well for this this environment. I think it's nice. I'm happy with this. Now I've just got to get the solar panel on, and that's the next trick. Figure out how I'm going to do that. Now that my sign is, let's say complete, my entryway. Oh, it's going to bother some people that the one on the left isn't as straight as the one on the right, but what am I going to do? Trying to fix that is something I probably need to wait until someone happens by my base and I can get them to help me out with it. Because I think I'd need someone up on the bridge to unlock until I'm happy I'm in the right position and then to lock the thing for me. But with that out of the way, I can now focus back on the train. I would like to get the station hooked up to power, and I was reminded of something that I probably should have done for the second warehouse for aligning the power to it. And that is using vertical alignment. I'm going to test before I dig if this can work, but what I might be able to do is put a connector facing that way on this grid and facing the other way on the other grid, and it might be a small enough gap that it can actually connect. Maybe. Now, does it matter which one's the up or the down? Yes, it will. Because one of them's going to have a bigger gap. Now, I need to figure out which way it needs to be. I think I need the up to be on the station and the down to be on this one. So let's just test this out. Oh yeah, that should almost certainly connect. I'm going to test it properly, but should almost certainly connect. No! Oh, it doesn't. Oh, that's so annoying. It's so annoying. Arrgh. And that is definitely the closer side. Dang it. I'm gonna need an intervening, like, bit. Actually, I'm not gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna try something and see if it works like it does with small grid. So if I leave that there and then up the strength on the magnets. Yes, it lifts. Okay. So with 4 connectors, as in if I build another connector on top of that one, then I use the next one to the base, I should be able to get this to connect. So I've just got to drill deep. Oh, it feels so weird to just drill a hole randomly in my base. Feels so strange. And the reason I need to use large grid connectors to connect up the top and bottom parts is that small ones will end up being under voxel and they'll probably be unhappy about that. I think, not sure, but I think they'd be okay because they're inside the voxel and not along the voxel sort of surface. But because that is only a think and not a I'm sure this is the case, I don't really want to risk it. The top connector, I do want these completely under the ground, so I'm going to make the top connector here. So that means I need to go 3 more blocks deep. I'm going to laugh quite hard if this next server restart is the voxel's restart. Voxel reset point. That'll be pretty funny. Because it's restarting in 9 minutes. Oh, I probably should have tested this before. I just assumed that I'd got that little hovering effect would be enough. Yeah. Oops. Oh, server restart. I'm not going to beat it. Okay, can I get to the top of that so I can turn it into a static grid? Oh, man. I'm rushing and I'm failing. Haste makes waste. Okay, switch lock. Control panel, info, convert to station. Realize I don't actually have the parts I need. 10 seconds. No! I don't want to be underground when the server restarts. Oh. No. I gotta wait. Dang it! I was hoping to beat that timer. Ah, so close. Yay, the voxels haven't reset. I won't be saying that the next time I load in. But right now, I'm glad I don't have to dig that hole again. Oh, please be close enough. This has got to be close enough. No! No. Why? How is that not close enough? Gah! Oh. Can I get to the top of that, make it mobile, and maybe see if I can... That could probably be further apart than it is. I don't want to have to do this more than this depth. This is already getting silly enough as it is. I can't use a piston because I don't have power to that middle grid. I can't get power to that middle grid unless it's locked down, at which point a piston doesn't work. I can't easily attach a battery to it because it's large grid. Although maybe could if I attach a hinge to the side of it or something. Maybe that's the way to go. I'm spending too much time fiddling with this, but I really don't have a better option other than sticking a tower that's solely on the train station grid to provide power to it. I'd rather not do that. So I'm going to stick with it and jump ahead to when I've figured it out. Okay. Maybe this will work. Probably need to reduce the magnetic strength down again a bit. Come on. Oh. Yes! Okay. In range of both. Let's lock. Aha! Solution identified. Oh man. That was a lot more complicated than I ever wanted it to be. Let's turn this to a static grid, wait for it to get covered over, and forget it ever happened. But I do have power on my station now. Yay! Let's get out of this hole. Leave it behind. And now, I should probably try and work on getting some solar panels hooked up to the top of the sign so that it doesn't run out of power with all those timer blocks running. I should have enough parts on me to build the spot to connect to. Let's go up there and see how close that sign actually comes to the railings. I think again I'm going to try and use the neon tubes as the connector because they are the narrowest things. They're going to be the least visible on the ground. So I just need to get this up above the railing height. Yep, there we go. Got up to the height that I need, and then we can use barred windows. And that should give me a nice platform for putting solar panels on. Part of me is tempted to bring it down below the railing height again, and I think I will actually. In fact, I think I'm going to get rid of this railing so I can hopefully bring this in closer. So it doesn't have to be going up and over the railing. I'll just lose that bit of railing. I think that'll be actually less obvious. Put a merge block on the end of one of the solar panels, bring it up here. I think that should provide enough power for this to run indefinitely. I just noticed something. In the real world, I am right-handed. Yet, in the Nugget, I appear to be left-handed. I almost always seem to go to pick up stuff with the left little landing leg, not the right one. No idea why that is. Huh. Weird. Weird to observe, weird to do. Come on, lock for me. Come on. Yeah! We have solar power to the sign. I'm getting all the jobs done. Oh, I should go turn on the, set up the lights over on the station. While it's dark. Oh, and have a look at my main sign while it's dark, actually. How is the Litzy sign doing? Yep, I'd say that's pretty readable. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, now that's done. It's time for the cargo carriage. So, I have a few extra large cargoes that were delivered. These were delivered by Maledictio. So I've got 2, 4, 5 large cargo containers. That is a lot. I don't know how many will fit on the carriages. So let's go line the carriages up and I'll join 2 of the flatbeds together and get these on and then figure out how I'm going to style them. Because I don't want just exposed large grid cargo containers. That seems horrible when, even though things went quite well, they still were not perfect. We still got shot at, we still got shot on the main train during the last run, so I definitely need to make sure that cargo are covered up. If I drop this from here, is that going to roll off and land on its wheels? Oh yeah, nailed it. Nailed it. Oh yes. So my options for these rail cars, I could try and make them look again like coal hoppers, but I think with the size of the large grid cargo containers, that's probably not going to work super well. How many blocks long are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they're about 20 blocks long. So I can easily fit 3 cargo containers on each one. They are 7 blocks wide, I think. Yeah. So what I'm thinking I can do is turn these into container cars. So keeping them looking like a flatbed, but putting 2 different sized containers on them. So this one would be a 15 block long container, and this one would be, well, 17 block long, because you need stuff at the end of each one. And this one would be a 12 block long, with the cargo containers inside those modern day style shipping containers. Then with this one, I might have enough space at one end to build another little turret. So it still gets the Mad Maxi vibe. And then we could possibly, I could maybe get some suggestions from you guys of things I could add to the container shape to make it look a bit more Mad Maxi as well. So I'd like to. I'm just going to get these lined up so I can get them merged. Why? Hey, nice, merged. Okay, cool. That's big step 1. Step 2 is get some batteries in them, because having batteries is good. Step 3 is lift it up. Step 4 is add the cargoes without blowing them up. Step 5 is repair the nugget's foot. Got this 1 battery. That's probably going to be enough. I don't need to have 2 or more batteries on this, as I have slowly eaten, well, rather rapidly eaten into my stockpile of... What? When did these show up? What? Holy cow. 3 barrels with 1,000 steel plate in them. Okay. What? Sure. Even more steel plate showing up. Excellent. I am not complaining. After this next trip to the ice, we probably need to start planning where we're going to be doing our launch platform, and it was sensibly suggested to me that maybe my base is not the spot to make a launch platform. Maybe the spot to make a launch platform is somewhere separate from my base, so that people don't have to deal with the jank of loading into my base, as well as all of the other stuff that's going to come along with the launch platform. Makes me a bit sad to do that, but there is certainly some logic to it. Plus it gives me somewhere to drive to, because I'll have somewhere, it'll be somewhere nearby, but not too far, but not close enough to be a loading issue. Grab this battery, then I'll lift it up and start digging into the top of the flatbed so that I've got somewhere to put it. I'll have the power I need so that I can run the piston to lift this up. Oops. I just cut that wheel off. No worries. Lucky I'd already merged the whole thing together. Alright, so we got that in the hole there. We'll get a merge block on that side, merge block on this side. And hope that I haven't put that in a spot that's going to make it annoying to do piping, conveyoring for this. That might be the case. I think for this one, the conveyoring is going to run through the containers rather than parallel to the containers, because I've got that battery there. I actually don't have a good reason for it outside of it. I've conveyed between the 2 carriages already, but yeah. Oh well. Alright, 1 done. I'm gonna align it first, and then I'll figure out the other ones and how they've all got to be. Alright, I need another way to get up here. The ramp I currently have is not very useful. Okay, do I make the big ports align or the small ports align? If I do the small ones, it does make it easier for piping up to everything. And we're only transporting ice, so I don't need large ports aligned. So if I leave it exactly as it is, and I align the other ones the same, I'll have a small port at the end, which I could then basically grab conveyors from and run down to the ground. Put a curved armored conveyor and just run it straight down to the floor where I've got the conveyor line running already, because you can see it here. And I'll have to do a similar thing at each end where I'll then hook up to the Frosty hitch. And what I was thinking of doing for the sort of surrounds of the cargo containers was actually something really straightforward. Basically, just a line of blast door blocks, like walls of blast doors with beam blocks at the corners. So we go up to the top, and then that should give me relatively strong or resistant walls to these things. And because they look like regular cargo containers, it should look right having them be fairly boring along the sides. Get this merged on. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. Hang it, it's wrong. I want this directly connected to that. Okay. So that's connected through to that piping. Then, as I said before, we go to blast door blocks. I'm just going to do this count again because I think I may have gotten it wrong, and I think this container actually needs to go further across, which is going to have to change everything. No. It just means the conveyor has to stick out the side of the wall. Because, yeah, I think that's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be the end of the next cargo container. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. It's wrong. Again. Wow. Messed that up twice. Alright. I think this works pretty well. You might notice there are a couple of beam end blocks in the top there. I probably should put them on the ends as well. I had to put those in so that the blast door blocks on the top surface actually had somewhere to attach to. If I run up here, you can see that I put blast doors all in here as well. And to be able to get those to have something to attach to, I needed to put end blocks in. So I might do that on the ends here too, because I think it'll look a bit neater. Not 100% sold on the color so far, but I kind of like the idea of it not all being rusty, the same as everything else. Yeah, it does look a bit more complete with the ends put in. One container done. Next one to do. That's going to be heavy. It's going to be properly heavy. That's a lot of steel plate that went into that. It's a lot of those donations that people have been dropping off. That's the rough shape I was imagining. It's even more boring than I thought it was going to be. So, I think I need to come up with some way of making the sides more interesting. One option I have is to replace some of these blocks with full regular armor blocks, and then I can put text on them. Or I could try and paint these to look like they're written on. But there's only very, 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 very basic lettering I can do with this much space. And I don't know that that's going to be enough to make this not look really boring. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And is also not remotely centered the way I just did it there. And I think the other side is not centered either. That one's not going to be centered because it would have to be a weirdly shaped letter to do that. Or number, in this case, since I've just gone numbers. I mean, it breaks up the side a little bit. Oh, actually, that's the answer. Yes. I could put some of these on there. Yeah. I can attach some of these. Perfect. Love it. That'll be the best way to go. I'll leave the numbers on there because I think it'll look cool having those slapped on, connected over the top of it. But yes, that is what I'm going to do. Okay. All I got to do now is lift this thing up and get it on bigger wheels with a wider stance. Then probably I need to go hunting out for something I can use up the front here as a turret, which will probably need to go on a stand raised up. Something similar to the little tower pillbox thing on this one. Like build something like that then has a turret on top of it. I think that'll work best. There's a part of me though that wants to hire a few people to make turrets like this one that has a connector, but otherwise is its own separate grid. Because then we could possibly even put those on top of more of the carriages, but... Oh, wait a second, no. No, I should not make a turret. I just remembered what this thing actually does. Would benefit the most from. More drills. More deployable drills. Because if I could put a pair here, and a pair here, then that's 6 drills that'll be hitting the ground at the same time, which means that people shouldn't have to jump off and drill. I might still make it so that it's manually controlled by people because it's kind of fun watching them jump off and then jump back on. But yeah, let people control those drills but not actually have to hand drill. Then people will be able to sit in more controlled situations. We could mount turrets on top of these container bits though, which could be fun. But yeah, need drills. Drills better. Drills smarter. So the existing deployable drills, they're just a simple hinge, which we did intentionally to make it as quick as possible. But I think I might try for something a little bit more elaborate on the new setup. And by a little bit more elaborate, I mean L-shaped. It's still just on a single hinge. Because I think the single hinge makes so much sense. But if I make it a bit L-shaped, it can then get past the platform on the station just a little bit more easily. Since I can put a ladder up on these, that's actually a nice little bit of detail as well. But more importantly, oh, I can only put it on one of them. Wait, why can I put it on that one but not that one? Where am I getting an attachment point on that I don't? I'm confused. But the idea behind the ladder is to allow this. I can get on board really easily. Where is that attaching to? That it can't attach to there? Or is it possible that this sticks out too far for me to have it on both? Might stick out too far. Yep, definitely sticks out too far. Okay, that's alright. We can have it on that one. That means I can put another one on here. And I now have an easy way to get up top of both. And realize that I forgot to do this bit. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. I lift it up a bit higher. So if we take out, say, this one, replace it with a junction. I think lift it up there to a T-piece, like so. And then have a pair of hinges on the side. I can then do something like have, let's use regular conveyors, I think. Still needs to go out a little bit further and drill like that. That should actually work quite nicely as a setup when deployed, and I've just got to make sure I get the angles right. But when it gets retracted, it should just look like a bit of a gull-wing thing with 2 drills sticking out. So if we say lower limit of maybe -15 or something like that, and we go up. How's that going to look while it's up? Yeah, it's definitely going to be clear of everything. Cool, yeah, I think that's roughly the right sort of idea. Now I had hoped to put the button panel on this in the middle, but I can't because the ladder gets in the way. So it's going to have to sit somewhere else. And it makes me kind of think I should have moved the drills over 1 block, just so I could do that, and I think I will. I'm going to move it just 1 block, or could I move both? Like, hit? Would it hit the thing if I moved it right up against the other container? It shouldn't. I'm just trying to get an angle where I can see. Yeah, it shouldn't. It should be fine. Okay. I'm going to move this whole thing over. Oh, I need a timer block, don't I? I was about to just do this as a group, but I need to be able to turn the drills on. I can do the group just for the hinges, but that doesn't really do all the things. So timer block. Okay, now we test. Yeah. Cool. Hopefully the angle is low enough. I'm pretty sure it will be. Toggle that off. Toggle that off. These don't have much force behind them, so they shouldn't break if I push them down. Oh wait, this isn't high enough yet. Ah, nuts. I haven't done the wheels. I gotta do the wheels before I can test that. That's a bit more like it. Now we can hop up and see if this goes down lower. Although I do want to turn off the drills because they will cause damage. Alright, what angle is that at now? 2 degrees. I could probably leave this to just go down to, say, let's go 7 degrees. I think that'll be good. So that's a pair of extra drills. If I wanted to, this setup actually leaves me enough room to put another drill on the side of it, but then it will kind of get in the way of getting on and off the train. I just kind of like that the button's here. Feels right. But there is that part of me that wants to put another drill next to this one. I'm also uncertain about leaving them all in rust. I kind of like it, but I also kind of don't. What about Dusty? Yeah, maybe Dusty's the way to go. Uh-oh. That painted a lot more than I wanted it to. Oh. Oop. Now that I've done it, I kind of like it. There's the paint job for all this bit. Oh. Off I go painting the whole thing again. I wonder what color I could do on the sides here that might show up through the dusty in an interesting way on the... Maybe the blue? No, blue's a bit much. Less saturation. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a bit nicer. Yeah, I think that feels more in character. And as well, remember these sides are going to be covered up a fair bit by the little tag things, the sign things that I'm going to put on here. Yeah, there we go. A bit more boring. Is it too boring? I don't think it'll be too boring once the signs get stuck on it. Now, which signs to stick on it? Yeah. Something like that. And what I might do is if anyone on the server has a design they want to make like this, that's, you know, just straight up plain plate with a single mag plate on it, feel free to drop them at my base or let me know where they are, and I might even add them to this carriage to give it some more decoration, especially if you've got something that's a bit more Mad Maxy in theme, because I think that'll be fun. I think this will be a cool one to have, like, graffitied sort of thing. Yeah, I think that'll be cool. Oh, maybe this one should go on the warehouse, actually. That does seem more fun. Yeah, I'm going to move this one to the warehouse front here, and I'll go grab one of the others. There we go, we got the crane up on the warehouse, which I think is a nice touch. And on this side of the car, we've got the crane. But yeah, that's this carriage pretty much sorted out. And I just got to hook it up to the train, which should be fairly easy if I just give myself a little bit of a helm on the front. I can then just drive it over there. Well, I guess the helm goes there. Because, again, the ladder's in the way. It's a terrible spot to put that. I wonder if I'll be able to get... Oh, yeah, I can just do it there. I was about to say, I wonder if I can get away with putting it next to the ladder, but this spot makes a lot more sense. There we go. Now we can drive. Oh, I apparently painted some of my floor. Should fix that. It is very dark. Oops. Okay. Maybe I'll do this in daylight. I will come back and connect these up properly once it is daytime. There is a little detail I'm going to add to the station platform that was suggested to me. UFOL sent me a pretty neat little design for what looks like a pretty to scale bin for the platform. And I think I just need steel plate for it. My scaffolding needs a different thing. Yeah, need girders as well. So, something that's going to be to scale and will look like a nice public station bin. We start with... Oh, I probably need to get some stuff for this as well. Start with a mag plate. Then we go to scaffolding. 1, 2. And then we just need plate, which I'm going to do in corrugated. And we'll go the blue. In fact, I'll grab the blue from the thing here. So around the top would be these bits. Then on top, one of these. And these bits around the sides. And once welded up, this looks like a pretty convincing little bin. Like that. If I unlock, turn off auto lock, and unlock that, hopefully we'll be able to move this. Oh, cool. I can fully pick this thing up. All right. Because then I can fill in this side too. And yeah, I can make a few of these bins around the place. I think that'll add a nice little bit of detail to the station. The thing I like about little designs like this is this could work outside of this environment as well. It doesn't have to just be a station platform. Any sort of base where you might want to have a little bin. I think this would work really nicely as a bit of extra detail. So next time I'm going to reorder these carriages in the daylight, and I'm hopefully going to be able to organize a crew to come with me to head to the pole so that we can take this and go and collect a whole lot more ice, because that is a whole lot more cargo. Then we have to decide on a location for our launch platform. So there's all that and plenty more to come. And we will see you then. I will see you then. Why did I say we? Hi. No, we. It will be we. We'll see you then.